Meanwhile, President Trump saying that politics are to blame for the leaks plaguing the first month of his administration and that President Obama may be behind it. He said this a bit earlier.
I think that President Obama is behind it because his people are certainly behind it. And some of the leaks possibly come from that group. You know, some of the leaks, which are really very serious leaks because they're very bad in terms of national security. But I also understand that's politics. And in terms of him being behind things, that's politics. And it will probably continue.
Juan Williams is a Fox News political analyst, and Guy Benson is a political editor for townhall.com and a Fox News contributor. Good to see you both, gentlemen, this morning.
Beautiful day. You know, what's the thing that's interesting about Donald Trump is that he says, yeah, President Obama's behind it. No big deal. I mean, that's what this town is all about, right? It's politics. I mean, isn't that a curious answer on its face?
I don't know what to do with it. You know, just sitting here talking to you, Bill, I think to myself, well, you always have to give the President of the United States the benefit of the doubt. He's often better informed than we are. But there's just no evidence that President Obama is involved, complicit in such a thing as to purposefully, intentionally provoke leaks to damage Donald Trump. I mean, there's not even evidence that there are, and this has been around town, that there may be some leftover Obama people in national security, maybe over at state, who have been reporting like the phone calls and the like. But when you actually start to push in on these sources, you find out there's a lot of daggers among Trump people, even Trump people very close to Trump.
So you're dismissing it?
I don't dismiss it because I want to give the president the benefit, but there's no evidence of such, and therefore it would be calumny or offensive to President Obama to make a claim like that against the former president, although I want to give the current president, you know, much respect.
Well, we know that there are thousands of people who stay plugged into the infrastructure. We don't know that they would be at the highest levels. I mean, some of them may still be there, Guy. But, you know, this administration's worried about leaks from within. As Juan mentioned, I mean, there are people inside this administration who don't always have the nicest things to say about the president. Sean Spicer, you know, taking the phones and looking for leaks. I mean, they're trying to cover every front on this.
Yeah, I think that's right. And I wonder if in this case, and sometimes we have to sort of dig in and take guesses. One of my guesses is that maybe what the president is saying when he says Obama, it's sort of shorthand for his people, his loyalists, his holdovers, because there has been reporting that some of his loyalists in the State Department, in the intelligence community and elsewhere may be responsible for some of these leaks that are clearly designed to damage and undermine Trump. So I don't think he completely pulls that out of nowhere. I know he also was attributing to Obama some of the town hall protests over Obamacare. I haven't seen any actual hard evidence of that. But if you think about it, the president, the former president, did come out and encourage people to protest Trump policies on immigration. He has said almost openly that he plans to have a post-presidency that is explicitly political. And in his heart, he's an organizer. He's a political animal. So it wouldn't surprise me.
He's going to do it from this town, too, right?
Yeah.
Organizing for America is his group, OFA, this grassroots organization now. Who's reporting on that? What are they doing? What are they up to?
Well, so far, it has been less organizing for America than some of these new groups that have been popping up. Because remember, a lot of the effort went into the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, selection of a new chair, and clearly the Obama faction there was behind Tom Perez, the former labor secretary in Obama's cabinet. And so they did put pressure there. I think you had Biden as well as Valerie Jarrett and others calling the members.
There's activity.
There's activity. But in terms of the real organizing that we're talking about, Organizing for America was so effective, I just haven't seen that profile recently.
Well, they've said they're going to have 400 rallies across 42 states aimed at pushing back on the president and the GOP with respect to Obamacare. They've also directed people with Indivisible and these other newer groups that you mentioned too. They're directing and partnering with each other. So, I mean, it seems like there is still plenty of OFA.
Oh, sure. And there's some orchestration, and the Obama people were very, very good at organizing. But here's my broader question. Let's take a step back. Does it really matter? To quote Hillary Clinton, at this point, what difference does it make? Whether President Obama and his top orbit are explicitly behind the orchestration, or whether they're just sort of at the periphery rooting it on? Why does that matter? I mean, we're in a new era, I feel like. Oh, this is a former president shouldn't say things about his successor. Aren't we in a Trump era? Aren't we sort of past comportment complaints?
What difference at this point does it make? What difference does it make, Juan?
Well, because things are so polarized, so intensely political at the moment. If you were able to say President Obama is doing this, I think it's much in line with President Trump saying the press is my enemy, or these people are out to get me. And then you have a sense of him being embattled and rallying people who are his supporters to his side to say, oh, if you guys are going to play like that, we're going to even be tougher.
My feeling, though, is if you're the Democratic Party and you don't have power in this town, the only power you have is that of resistance.
Well, that's true, and I think that's why you see, in fact, I think that's the slogan. They hang that off of some of the building cranes around town, resist. So, yes, that's exactly right. But the thing is, if you do it in such a way that's antagonistic or even offensive to the office of the president, I think you hurt yourself.
See, I just watching the clip from Trump, I don't think that he views it as beyond the pale if Obama is involved. He shrugged. He said it's politics, right? He thinks this is sort of fair game, and it's almost like he said, if the roles were reversed, I'd be doing it, right? He doesn't seem all that bothered by it himself. He'll use it. He's a pretty savvy political actor in that way. I just don't think
But it really is beyond what we've seen in the past in terms of presidents talking about each other, even President George W. Bush on Hannity. You know, he says he has some issues, but very, very courteous and respectful.
And he took an 8-year hiatus on doing that as well.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
Hey, enjoy tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It'll be fun, won't it?
Pop your popcorn. All right.
Who knows what it'll be?
You never know. You never know.